Okay, I thought I'd make a video about securing your neighborhood or even an apartment complex, you know, your home, in a SHTF type scenario. This is going to be a long video. I've got a lot of ideas, right, on how to do this, and you know, ideas take time. So if you don't like long videos, you know, hey, don't watch. If you want to learn, get some ideas, have a plan, then you're going to stick around. That's up to you guys. Maybe you'll learn something. Leave comments. Maybe I'll learn something from you. And make them constructive, man. YouTube's just loaded with idiots and dumb comments. You know, make them count. You know. But anyway, let's go over this. Now, to even have a chance to pull this off, right, you need to get to know the people around you. You don't have a snowflake's chance in hell to pull this off if people around you are hungry. If they're worried about where their next meal is going to come from after not eating for a couple days, the last thing they're going to do is listen to you go talk about setting up checkpoints. They're not going to care. It's just that simple. I made several videos about bringing your neighborhood together before shit hits the fan. I made a video about starting a community garden. They have people fed. I left links in the description bar. I said leave a big old sign, poster board or something on the telephone pole. Have a couple meetings, see who's with you. People will not work together if there's no food. Of course, maybe you won't be able to survive off gardening alone, but it'll definitely help supplement whatever else you can get your hands on. Right? That's a big thing. I did a video about throwing barbecues. If you're a hunter, make kebab meat out of, you know, deer and boar, maybe with some of the veggies you grow. Talked about trying to get in shape with the neighbors, go running, you know, stuff like that. Do you know, defensive training or something, you know, and also with a neighborhood watch, right? A neighborhood watch would be a great way to start. I made a video about starting a community watch. Left links in the description bar. Leave a sign on the telephone pole. Do it a couple times. Have a couple meetings. If you just do one meeting on a Thursday night and just one or two guys show up, or, you know, women or whatever, just a few people show up, maybe they had to work. Maybe they had class. Maybe something was going on. Do it a couple times. Make sure you give everybody a chance. That would be the foundation of your neighborhood defense team. Right? You would want to look for people, current or former military or law enforcement, right? People with medical training like doctors, EMS techs, registered nurses, even firefighters, because a lot of times they have some medical training. That'd be a great way to go. If you had a community watch, then you could ask who has guns in the neighborhood, right? And you'd know, have an idea of the strength of your neighborhood. See who would be willing to go to the range. And if they're interested, take them with you. I would say the first thing you want to do is get on Google Maps and make a map of your neighborhood. This is my old neighborhood, right, where I grew up as a kid. So I printed it out as an example. I'd say do the Google map printout and the satellite printout. And these yellow here, this is the main roads or highways. This is what you want to have. And with a satellite, if you know the area, look for main entrances, look for high points, tree lines, and use that to start up. I would say if you have extra money, put some Mosin-nagants aside. If you really had the money, put 5 aside. And a couple ammo cans. One would probably do it, but a couple ammo cans would definitely work. Then, if you had a neighborhood watch, or you have a barbecue and you see who else wants to go hunting, you can take a Mosin-nagant, have guys trained on that. If something happened, you could hand that over, and they would know how to use it. They don't have to know that you have maybe 5 in the closet. As far as they know, it's always the same one, or it could be the same one. Take a couple guys, let them use it. If shit happens, you could hand, if you had 5 Mosins in the closet, you could hand out 5, and that'd be 5 guys that would know how to use it, right? That'd help you out, because you can have all kinds of guns in your closet, but realistically, you can only use one at a time. If your neighborhood's being attacked, well, then it doesn't do you much good. Arming people around you can trust will be much more beneficial than having guns in the closet that you can't use. First thing you would want to do is, here's the main road, right? You would want to block off the main roads and highways leading to your neighborhood, right? Make it look very cluttered, like they were randomly abandoned after a several car collision, right? If large numbers come through, they're going to be using the main roads most likely, because they're not going to be familiar with the neighborhood if they're just passing through area to area. So that's going to be a big thing to do. I would have actually, this was my old house here, I would have actually done it farther, but for the sake of the map, I just put them here where you can see. A little farther on this one, that's probably okay. But you'd seal it off. You would want to, like, use just cars and trucks, seal off the neighborhood entrances, right? These orange would be bottlenecks, right? They could be checkpoints. You'd seal off with cars. And you could have guys just making sure people actually belong to the neighborhood. Right, let's say that you can better control who comes in and out of your neighborhood that way, if you have checkpoints there, and you bottle them up. So let's say there's somebody coming in. Stop them, make sure that they're part of the neighborhood. You look in the car, you see a family with one guy. You know, who's this? Oh, this is my Uncle Jake or whatever. Okay, come on in. And then, you know, somebody else comes by, and it's one person you know with 5 guys you don't know. Well then, you know, there's probably something wrong there. You know, if you got a walkie or something, you know, you can have a plan for that. You know, that may be something up to watch them. But more importantly, let's say you're attacked. A bunch of guys try to rush in, and you'd have pretty much, you know, you could have barricades and other stuff like that. We'll get into that later. But if you had bottlenecks using vehicles, they would have to bunch up to come in. And if you got a bunch of people looking to do you harm, well, if they bottleneck, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. God forbid you're ever in that situation. But if you are, whether it's, you know, your community, your families, or guys looking to do you harm, well then, hey, you know, that's a pretty easy choice to make. You can strengthen your neighborhood. Like these houses, I remember, I was here, so the houses here, they all had wooden fences. So maybe the ones in the outer area here, you could run nails on the top of the fence sticking out, you know, on the outside perimeter, not the houses in the middle, obviously, like this house wouldn't do it, but the ones on the outsides could make it just a little bit harder because all the fences were connected. So there you go. Run nails through the top, pointing out, and maybe on the outside, you know, you've got to watch the kids and stuff, but if you had to, if things got really bad, nails through the boards so somebody couldn't kick it in from the other side, right? Let's say, and make it harder to climb over as well. Here, where I used to live, this wooded area, little creek, we all had chain link metal fences. So what you could do with those fences is take nails and coat hangers. You take some wire cutters and pliers and make makeshift barbed wire to put in there all along the top, right? Even if it slows them down, that'd be very beneficial to you, right? If you got bad guys, you know, jumping over a fence and they get caught or it's slowing them down, well, hey, you could pick them off the fence pretty easily, couldn't you? If they're, you know, they're going to come in here and, you know, probably kill you, kill your family, you never know. But you know they're up to no good, they got firearms and, you know, not taking hostages. Well then, hey, going over that fence with makeshift barbed wire will slow them down. When you slow them down, there you go. Easy picking. You could have guys in rooftops, like let's say on the outskirts or something. guy up in the treetop, you know, be an outpost or something, and with some decent binoculars, preferably, you know, binoculars and a hunting rifle with a good scope. But let's say, you know, if not, at least decent binoculars. And I guess if you had to, hell, even if somebody got a kid's telescope or something, just so you can take a look around. I mean, you're not going to probably have binoculars for every single one of these checkpoints or guys in the, you know, the trees and stuff. But, you know, make do with what you can. It's better to have stuff aside if you have it. Also, radios would be very beneficial. You know, people probably listen for unsecure chatter, but, you know, you can switch it up. I guess every so often switch to another channel, have a name for a channel, you know, you can figure it out. Go to channel cat, and that's like channel 3 or something like that. Just something people don't know. Break it up, and they'd have to switch it over. You can, you know, every so often. I don't know. You can figure that out. But radios would be preferred. However, you know, even a whistle. Let's say somebody sees somebody coming. Somebody's right here. They see somebody coming. They could have a certain whistle or do a certain whistle. Other people would hear it and start alarming everybody else in the neighborhood that something's bad, you know, something's coming, something bad's happening. You could set up spike barricades by the vehicles, right? Make it look like a hard target. If marauders come around, they're going to stake you out. So you want to make it look pretty tough. Back here, there was a wooded area in the creek. You could take beer and soda cans, put some pebbles in them, some string, put it low down by around the perimeter, and we all had dogs. So somebody sneaking around, especially at night, you know, you got these beer can alarms between the trees and bushes, set off the dogs. The dogs wake people up, and then word starts spreading. You know, get ready for something bad. You want to try to make yourself look stronger than you really are, right? Let's say, again, marauders come, they're looking to do you harm. They're going to stake you out, get a strength of your numbers. So let's go with this apartment complex here. So that here we go, the main roads. You block off the smaller roads leading to your neighborhood and you make them into checkpoints, right? Let's get apartment complex here. My old apartment complex. Now the people inside, you know, maybe not everybody's going to have firearms. So you need to improvise, right? Share what you have. A good idea, because you're going to be staked out, make fake weapons out of boards, broomsticks, pipes, plywood, and paint to make your community seem stronger than it really is. It may dissuade attackers. You see, they're looking for the easy target. If they see a few people with a lot of supplies, not well armed, that's what they want. If they see a big force, well armed, equal or stronger to them, they don't want that. Right? Criminals always prey on weak. That's the way it is. If you look at nature, the predator, you know, he's not going to go after the bear. He's going to go hunt the rabbit. They go for the easier target, something that can't put up as much of a fight. Right? These guys do the same thing. You know, the wolves will do the same thing. So, let's say you're low on firearms. Let's say one guy only has a handgun. Well, you put a fake rifle on his back, right? Get 2 pipes and some plywood, you know, some 2x4s. Cut it down, sand it, make it look like a double barrel shotgun, or, you know, make it look like a hunting rifle. Just, you know, use your head. Be creative. You're gonna have a lot of time. So let's say a guy has a real gun, put a fake rifle on his back. Let's say he has a rifle. Well, you'd make a fake handgun, paint it black. You know, you'd have an extra holster or something, put it in his pocket. I mean, put it in the holster or the crack of his behind. It's just for show. You want to make yourself look stronger than you really are. Right? So they see that, they'll see a bunch of guys armed up. Bullets are going to go both ways. They got a 50-50 chance. They don't want a 50-50 chance, right? Those aren't very good odds on either side. And they know that, you know, you can fight back, or they think you can. Right? The best way to win a fight is not to be in it. So if you can scare them off, they'll just go elsewhere. They'll leave you and yours alone. I heard a good idea on this video I saw. This guy was talking about buying fake heads at a Halloween store, and then he'd put them up on the perimeter, and then he'd pour like blood from animals he hunted, whether it's squirrel or deer or boar, whatever the hell you get your hands on. You'd pour the blood on the fake head, and that draw a shitload of flies. So when people come to stake you out, they'll see that and it'll freak them out. You know, you could put signs like, I try to take from this community, and you know, looters will be shot, stuff like that. If marauders stake you out, you're gonna look like a well-armed community that doesn't fuck around, right? Let's say there's a building, a tall building or something in your community. You can take t-shirts and pants and make a fake machine gun nest. Take a big old pipe, take some plywood and some 2x4s, some paint, and a tarp, and make it look like you have a big old machine gun covered up in a machine gun nest. It'll look like you took, you know, a gun from the military in the chaos, right? They don't want to go up against that. Something that looks like you can tear right through a truck or something like foil paper. They don't want to go up against that, right? They'll see all that. They'll see guys walking around with what they think are, you know, pretty well armed. They'll see a big old machine gun nest, fake machine gun nest. They'll see heads. They'll think, man, you know, these guys don't fuck around. Let's get out of here before they see us, right? That's hopefully the best case scenario. Worst case, well then, you know, you're in the same predicament you'd be as not having the fake weapons anyway. So, but maybe you can scare them off. Another idea. Let's say you have old surplus, you know, old World War II rifles. I would say polish the wood and paint it black, right? Polish all the steel. Make it look more modern, right? Sporty. Yeah, I know you're screwing up a historic rifle, but you know what? It's called survival. If you, I mean, what's better? You do this to survive, or some marauders go in there and then he has a nice World War II rifle, right? Now let's break this down. Again, here, yellow was the main road. You would do the same thing, block it off a ways, right? A bit of a way with making it look like a really bad accident, right? Seal off your neighborhood first off. So you would have, of course, double cars doubled up, and that'd be your checkpoint, main area, the entrance. And then there was a good idea from Healthy Prepper. I like the idea of taking a bunch of glass, you know, bottles and stuff, and breaking them all around here. So this apartment complex had a metal chain link fence that went all around it, pretty high too. So number one, you can makeshift barbed wire with coat hangers. This is a real shit at the fan Mad Max type scenario we're talking about. You would take the nails and coat hangers and makeshift barbed wire up there, all around there, right? Slow anybody down if they tried to go over it. Down here, on the concrete, on the pavement outside, bust a whole bunch of glass up. That way they can't run in there with dogs. And you put barricades with wood and junk, all kinds of sharp stuff in their direction, right? That way they'd have to deal with broken glass. They can't take dogs. They got barricades they got to worry about. You know, stuff to get really rusted and stuff. I mean, really nasty stuff you don't want to mess with on the outside of your perimeter. You could even, hell, take like U-Haul trucks, or, you know, just some big trucks, not cars, because they may be able to use it for cover if you put it right next to that fence, but something higher up, something taller, you know, like a moving truck or stuff like that. You know, 18-wheel. Obviously, if it's a grocery truck, leave it open so people don't see something there and think, hey, look, they got a shitload of food. You know, just leave an empty truck. They can see it's empty. But just so they couldn't take another car and ram all that stuff, right? You know, you could put that randomly there, I guess, if you chose to. I don't know if you guys would want to do that or not. It's up to y'all. And then on the rooftops, the outskirt and the outpoints, you could build up some defense against small arms fire and rifles and stuff, right? Again, there's sometimes, forget of it, on the rooftop, but just build up whatever you have to give you some cover. Be a lot of junk, I'm sure, that you could use. That way, if something bad happens, they can see what's going on and if they take rounds, they can just duck behind that. You know, just something to defend against arms fire. And you have a lookout, you know, in all positions, of course. Now, Healthy Prepper had an idea that I don't know if she meant, you know, like literally as soon as something bad happens. I wouldn't recommend doing this stuff as soon as something happens, right? It seems like a lot of trouble. Like, let's say, you know, you have to know it's definitely permanent. It's going to last for a while. You don't want to do it right away. If things go back to normal, well then, you know, you're in some trouble. Another thing, if it's that bad, you would probably want to start securing resources, whatever you could. I always say have stuff at home, yes, but a lot of these people wouldn't. If you guys are together, you know, neighborhood defense team or something like that, if your community is pretty much together, well, then you guys know, well, hey, let's go get what we can. Don't tell them what you have, but you would say, hey, we better get what we can, acquire what we can. Because obviously, if you're the one prepper in your neighborhood or in your community, you can't feed everybody. That's just the way it is. So you're gonna have to acquire other stuff. You know, maybe you guys can do some gardening on the, you know, around there or something like that. You know, people on their patios and stuff to help supplement. But that's just the way it is. You couldn't feed everybody. So I'd see it as a waste of energy to start digging up foxholes all over right away. Better than that, I would say the big old trash cans that you get, right? They're gonna have trash in there, I'm sure. Right, without trash service, it's going to fill up pretty quick. You could also, you'll probably be burying waste, so you can take some of that dirt and pile it into the trash cans. Give yourself some defense against firearms. So you got them on the outsides and the perimeter. You know, you guys up here, and then the lower level on the ground, trash cans. And you wouldn't just have one trash. You'd have a stack of trash cans, and the other one's you know, sideways. That way, you'd have some sort of defense. You don't want all kinds of sharp stuff in there, and not just trash cans. You're probably going to have kids running around here, right? Now, you know, of course, like I said, the heads would be on the outside of the perimeter where they wouldn't see it. But, you know, you probably have families just doing the regular thing. Kids are going to be inside the perimeter. Trash cans, non-threatening, you know. But if you had to, you could run behind it. That would be what I recommend. Quick and easy. And get the job done. You could set up random patrols, right? You got guys with, some have real guns, like, you know, I guess you probably definitely want to have somebody out, you know, not probably, you would want to have somebody out there with a firearm. Let's say the guy has a rifle and just a fake handgun or whatever, you know, just patrolling. You would want to have random patrols and random shifts, right? Random patterns. Otherwise, they'll just wait till you're going to switch off. Wait till the lookout's kind of tired towards the end of a shift or something. Right? Less likely to notice what's going on. And then I would say, like here, I believe there were, I forget where the trees were. It was like in this section here, I think. You could have a guy in the tree again. Have some rope or something set up where, you know, fire ladder or something like that, rope ladder, where you can get up in that tree. If there's news of marauders coming, put one guy in the tree, you know, or whatever trees you got, with a good hunting rifle. Teach them what to look for. Look for if you're going to be attacked by marauders. Look for the leader. Probably the guy in the back, in the middle, or the back side. Probably on the radio. Maybe, maybe not, but definitely people doing a lot of pointing. You know, this, that, people running to and from him, stuff like that. You take out the leader, a lot of times, you know, they're disorganized. That's it. You'll probably break them up. You kill the head, the whole thing dies. They may come back, they may not, but at least I take care of the problem then and there. Oh yeah, another idea. I forget if it's Sensible Prepper or Homestead Prepper. I think it was Homestead, but had a great idea about making some fake defense firearms, right? Fake cover. So the idea was, and I love that idea, all's fair in love and war. These green here would represent fake cover. So you'd have a bunch of glass and stuff. You'd have barricades. You would have string and beer and soda can, you know, with pebbles in it around there. And on the outskirts, you want to clear out all the other area. And then have just some fake defense from firearms. And it'd be fake. So the marauders would jump over here, run over behind this cover. Fire at your boys. Their cover works. They fire right through the fake cover and just take them all out, right? You'd have just empty space, unless you put the trucks. You'd have empty space, and then you could even, I guess that worked. You put enough barricades and something heavy enough where they couldn't take vehicles. That worked too. But empty space and nothing but this for cover. They run behind the cover. They feel secure and safe. You just take them out. So that's a couple of good ideas. And then at the lower level, trash cans that would be, loaded up with stuff. And they're pretty thick trash cans too. So I think that would do the job. Pretty damn sure that'd do the job. What else do we got? You'd have, I would say, everybody would have to pitch in if you can have some kind of defense, right? Fuel and stuff like that. I would say, a certain area, maybe there's a lot of concrete or something. I take some of that, gasoline, bottles and stuff, and just, hey, if it's like some Alamo or something, just nothing but pavement around you, well, you can, you get the idea. Good brick and mortar building or something if you had that, and food, provisions, all that, maybe in the center where you take the kids and keep them safe. If you had to, the best way would have an escape plan, but have something set up just in case. You never know. Okay, so you want to have, let's say, let's go to something else real quick. Let's say that does happen. Whether you're doing the, you're stuck in one building, or you're defending the, the whole area, your community. What you would want to do, on TV it's always different. You always got a guy with like a machine gun on top, but that's not what you want. You would want to put the guys with the bolt action or single action handguns on the top, and put the guys with semi-auto, pump, or lever action on the bottom. See, if this guy fires, he shoots at this guy, he misses. Maybe he gets him, maybe he doesn't. But the guys with semi, pump, or lever action, this guy may fire at this guy and miss, but he might get the guy behind him. This guy might fire and get both. If you got a crowd of bad guys running at you, marauders looking to do you harm, well, there you go. It's just ground level, one guy behind another. They're going in there to hurt you, kill you. Well, that's going to be the way to do it. And the last thing, of course, would be, I'll use this one for example, my old childhood neighborhood, would be have an escape plan. Like here, probably be the tracks would be the most logical. I mean, that's not really that far. I knew this place pretty well, cut through a run. But if you could, of course, have different routes, but maybe go in different, have a couple different exit plans. If everybody's heading in one direction, all bunched up like fish in a barrel, that's not good. But let's say, this would be a good one right here. The tracks, usually pretty open, pretty direct. You just run off in that direction if you're close to there. Escape plan. You and your family or people you can trust, you can break up into different sections. And remember, you can't save the world. Have different plans, like, these families go this way, these families go that way, or whatever. Because if you go separate directions, they can't get all of y'all. You got a better chance that way if it's really bad. But you would have like survival caches out there, canned goods, can opener, water, definitely some medical equipment. Not not tons, but some. You're gonna need most of it, I'm sure, in your community. But that'd be a big one, right? Another thing, I would say, good idea. Let's say you are in this community here. Again, you want to clear all this area. Let's say there's a tree or something. Say there's a tree right here. Right. Even though you got this fake cover, they might use that tree. What I would do, use the tree, is I would dig out the opposite side. Like those, maybe those bear deterrent carpets or prepper, I forget what you call it, doormat or something. It's like a 2x4 with spikes, with nails run through it that people put in front of cabins to deter bears from going in.